Maisy's ABC is really sweet. I love watching educational kids shows because I love to see how educational they are. I got a lot of my early years education from TV shows, and I like to see initially what I grew up watching that I perhaps couldn't remember, but also what younger generations are perhaps growing up with. This one was released originally in 2001, and I would have been too old for it at the time. I would have been 9, but even with that in mind, I don't know if I would have seen it if I'd been a little bit younger when this was released because I didn't grow up on Maisy. I know a lot of people did. Maisy is a very popular character, but it's something that seemed to have bypassed me quite a bit. So I was really keen to watch it with that in mind as well to see what it was like. And I have to say, it's really sweet. The format is very straightforward. Maisy and some other popular characters take us through the letters of the alphabet, and we have animations on screen to depict what we're seeing. And the animation is really lovely. It's a little rough around the edges for being 2001. I was expecting it to be a little better given the age of it, but it's not terrible. It is certainly watchable, but compared to a lot of things that were released around this time and even earlier, it's not as good as it could be, but it's absolutely fine. And we have the word on screen, and what I really like is that when we have the word, for example, I won't give them all away. If you want to play a game, I wish I'd done this before watching it, but maybe try and guess what you think each of the letters of the alphabet will be. And I will give an example now. We have grass, and we have the letter G on screen, and then the rest of the word appears. So the viewer is constantly able to look at first of all the letter and then seeing the rest of the word, and it really helps to reinforce the letter in question, which I thought was a really nice touch. And then we have animations on screen to show the word. The only thing that I wish they'd done slightly differently is the way they say the word. So it does actually start, for example, we'll stick with G. It does begin with G, G. So it's giving that G sound and then the G sound. But then for the rest of that segment, it's just referring to it as G. And I wish they'd repeated the G a little bit. And there are two reasons for this. The first is that some children learn the alphabet ABAC, some learn it ABC, but also the alphabet song that every child learns is the ABC song, of course. And they are starting to get used to hearing those as ABC. So by only mentioning it once as ABC, and then after that only as ABAC, it's going to make it a little bit more difficult for the viewer to constantly connect ABC with ABAC. So I think they could have done that a little bit more, but I'm still glad that they did begin each segment with A, B, B. It definitely helps to connect them a little bit, but maybe not as much as I would have hoped. But other than that, it's absolutely delightful. The whole thing is about 30 minutes, so we do get quite a few examples for each letter of the alphabet, or most letters of the alphabet, which I think was a good idea because it gives a good variety. And the animation is, as I said, absolutely fine. Maybe feels a little dated for 2001, but in general, it's quite pleasant, and it's the kind of thing that I would have loved as a child. Maybe not with Maisy, because for some reason I just didn't pay attention to Maisy. But other than that, the actual format is really engaging, the pacing is great, and we have a really good variety of things to depict these letters of the alphabet. So, no complaints from me. Maisy's ABC is pretty great.